Hi internets, it's Olin from What I'm Listening To, and today we're doing kind of a supplemental video. It's not quite a full-fledged new editions or new arrivals kind of video. This is actually kind of a follow-up to my Numero Group video that I posted at this point several months ago. On this day, October 16th, 2024, the Numero Group did a pop-up shop at a spot in the Mission, and I happened to go visit them and, of course, left with some CDs. And again, instead of making a big full-fledged video, I just figured I'd make something very casual, talk about the experience, and show off the things that I got. So the space they occupied seemed like it was already some kind of store. It might have even been another record store, but it was just filled with all sorts of Numero Group stuff. Records, 45s, CDs, cassettes, and even shirts. It was essentially just everything a fan of the Numero Group could ask for. Of course, there were a lot more records than there were CDs, but I still, again, left with some CDs that I'm very excited to be sharing with you guys today. I did try to get a shirt, but unfortunately they were out of my size, but that does kind of make sense because the pop-up shop was a 2-day event, and the day I went was the last day. I'm guessing they just sold out of all the larges, which is understandable because that's a size that lots of people get. And to top it all off, right outside of the storefront, there was an inflatable duster cat that I thought was very, very cool. In fact, now that I think about it, there were even duster cat plushies that I was kind of tempted to get, but ultimately I decided I didn't need another plushie in my life. But going back to the CDs that I got, I ended up leaving with 6 CDs that only cost me $36 in total, and that included a 10% coupon that I was able to get, which was awesome. So doing the math, $6 per CD was a steal. So just to go through them one by one, first up, this is a Bedhead live album. It's just called Live 1998. This was actually really exciting for me to find because I already have a copy of this on CD, but my copy has this little ding in the center of the cover from some stupid thing I did where I was putting it on my CD shelf and one of the jewel cases just rammed itself right in there, ultimately ruining the cover. And now normally that would be something that wouldn't really bother me if it wasn't this CD, but the fact that the cover is all black and it just left this big white dent in the center just really annoyed me. So I was glad to find another copy with a clean cover, still sealed, which is cool. This time around, I'm going to put an outer sleeve over it to make sure that doesn't happen again. And the music itself on this is also very, very good. I'm not normally a huge fan of live albums, but this particular release I think sounds very good. The Numero Group also released an amazing box set that has pretty much everything that the band put out packaged inside, everything except this CD. So this was a great find because I was able to upgrade my old copy to this one, and I will also now have to revisit this album because it has been some time since I've heard it. Okay, next up we have a Laraaji compilation. This is called Vision Songs Volume 1. In the last Numero Group video, I talked about getting a compilation by a guy named Iasos, who is a phenomenal new age ambient composer. So finding this Laraaji comp just felt very appropriate. I really, really like Laraaji's stuff. His collaboration with Brian Eno on Ambient 3 is incredible. His solo stuff is also equally incredible. I don't know a single thing on this collection. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic listen. I think the cover speaks to what I'm imagining it's going to sound like, very heavenly and spiritual and pretty. But yeah, Can't go wrong with Laraaji, and I can't get enough ambient music in my collection. Next up, I have some yacht rock. This is a guy by the name of Ned Doheny, and this is his album, The Darkness Beyond the Fire. One of my all-time favorite Numero comps is the Seafaring Strangers Private Yacht collection, which I did talk about in my Numero Group video. He has a song that is featured on that comp. This is actually Ned's most recent album, which the time it was released was 2010, so it's already been 14 years since. But considering that the guy was mostly releasing music in the late 70s and 80s and is still putting out stuff in the 2010s is pretty incredible. Not only do I have the Private Yacht CD, but I was also able to find a Ned collection CD where it has his first 2 albums on one disc. It kind of looks like a cheesy drugstore CD, but I like the fact that there's 2 albums on one disc, and I love his work, so I couldn't help getting that. And as for this one, I just figured, why the hell not? It was there, I was there, it was only $6, despite the fact that there's a $5 price tag sticker on it. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it was cheap, so I had to get it. Okay, next up, I have some proto-metal. This is a band called Medusa. Now, in my last Numero Group video, I talked about the Warfaring Strangers compilations, which is a collection of private pressed proto-metal and mostly stoner rock stuff from the late 60s and 70s. If I'm not mistaken, at least one song by this band is on one of those comps. And I do actually remember considering getting this CD when it was only $5 on the Numero website, but I held off on it. That wasn't until today when I once again saw it at the pop-up shop, and I just decided, let's go for it. The cover is completely brutal looking. I don't think the music is as brutal as the cover, but still, it's cool. And I think, actually, the packaging is like felt, which is quite nice too. I don't know, I mostly just bought this on vibes. Everything I've heard in the hard rock, heavy metal department of Numero Group has always been very good, so yeah, this one should be just as good. Okay, next up I have kind of a wild card here. This is called Stone Coal White. This one was yet another going off of vibes purchase. I actually don't know anything about this CD. I was reading the hype sticker on the front, which the Numero Group has very, very good blurbs that will make you buy something you've never heard of. This one reads, channeling Vietnam nightmares, grass, LSD, unhinged sexuality, poverty, and violence, Dayton, Ohio's Stone Coal White unleashed a scuzzy psych rock sound from the deepest chasm of the black experience. Their 245s have been bolstered with 4 previously unissued tracks found in the basement of a now condemned motorcycle gang hideout. Along with never-before-seen photos, this unheard slice of gritty, hazed-out psych rock finally gets its due beyond the cranked-out bikers for whom it was originally intended. So yeah, it just sounds completely badass. And the last thing I have for you all today, this is the thing I am most excited to have found. This is the brand new Duster album. It's really crazy to me that Duster has made the comeback that they have now. You know, since having exploded in popularity on the internet with the uncovering of their 90s records, to then getting said records reissued by Numero Group, to then releasing completely new material in the late 2010s and 2020s. At this point, this is the band's 3rd new album since they reformed. And I know that there's some fans that don't really fuck with the newer albums. They like the old stuff strictly. But every recent album I've heard of theirs, I've really enjoyed, and I'm sure I'll feel the same way about this one. And finding this CD was especially cool because I know that the street date for the CD, and I believe the record also, aren't until December. The digital release came out a few months ago, which is usually the case nowadays, and I had staved off on listening to it because I was just going to wait for the CD to come out. But now I don't have to wait all the way to December. I have it now, and I'm really stoked for that. I can finally crack this baby open and listen to some brand new Duster in 2024. And with that, that's everything I left from that pop-up shop. It was a really fun, cool, cramped experience. I was glad I was able to attend. I was glad I was able to leave with some treasures. Big shout out to the Numero Group for coming to the Bay Area and selling us nerds all their records and CDs and such. That does it for me. I'm going to go listen to these new albums. Very excited to do that. I bid you all farewell, good nights, and I'll see you in the next video.